Hello, this is Dr. Morales, and in this video we are going to go over solving multi-step equations with variables on both sides. This type of equations are one of the most missed questions in the algebra EOC. So let's get started. So we're going to look at number one. When you look at number one, this is how you read this question. Negative 3 plus 5 times a equals 4 times a minus 10. Now, the reason why I say 5 times a is to remind everybody that this is 5 multiplying a, which means that you have 5 of those. Remember, multiplication is repeated addition. So 5a is the same as a plus a plus a plus a plus a. So instead of writing a plus a plus a plus a, we simplify that as being 5a because we have 5 of those. This is what we call combining like terms. We're combining all of these a's together to give me 5a. So that's one of the misconceptions students have when they see a variable and a number together. Okay, so let's get started. So the idea when you're solving equation is to isolate the variable, meaning that you have to have an answer that tells you how much is the value of, in this case, a. So in order to do that, you're going to have to move things around to combine like terms. In other words, I got to move this negative 3 so it could be together with this negative 10, and I have to move this 4a so it could be together with this 5a. Okay, it doesn't matter which one you decide to move first, as long as you understand that they have to be together. Variables with variables and constants, these are the numbers, it's called constants together. So I'm going to move this negative 3. So when you move a negative 3 to the other side, what you're doing is you're making it 0 on this side. So on the left hand side is negative 3. I need to make it 0. In order to do that, I'm going to add 3 because negative 3 plus 3 equals 0. And then whatever I do on one side, I must do on the other side. So this is plus 3. People ask on the other side of what? On the other side of the equal sign. So imagine the equal sign being the symbol that separates the two pieces of the equation. Okay, so now this cancels. And now what do I have left? I have 5a on the left hand side. I have the equal sign in between. And then I have 4a here, and then negative 10 plus 3 is negative 7. Okay, now remember I told you we need to put the variables together. We already put the negative 3, we moved it to the other side with the negative 10. Now I need to move this 4a on the other side, and I'm going to do the same thing. I need to make it a 0, so I have to subtract 4a. And when I subtract 4a, remember you're subtracting 4a, not just 4a, the whole thing together, because this has to be 0, and I have 5a minus 4a is just 1a. You can write a 1 if you want to, but you don't have to. What do we have left on the other side? We have negative 7. Okay, so a equals negative 7. Now, to make sure that you did everything correctly, it's a good idea to always check your answer, especially when you're taking the test. So when you check your answer, what you do is you're substituting the value of a, which is negative 7, into the original equation, and you should get an equivalent answer. So let's rewrite the equation. Negative 3 plus 5 times a. Remember I told at the beginning this is 5 times a, but it's going to be 5 times the value of a, which is negative 7, equals 4 times a, so 4 times negative 7 minus 10. Okay, so now I'm going to work this out using the order of operations. Multiplication is first. 5 times negative 7 is negative 35. And then we bring down this minus 3 here in the front of this negative 3 equals 4 times negative 7 is negative 28. And I'm going to bring down this minus 10 or negative 10 here on the right hand side. Now, negative 3 minus 35 gives me negative 38 equals negative 28 minus 10 is also negative 38. So whenever I get a true answer. Negative 38 is equal to negative 38. That means my equation is correct. That means that A does equal to negative 7. All right, moving on to number 2. Let me write a line so we can separate. So remember, we need to combine like terms. I need to put the variables together. I have a negative 2k on this side, and on the other side of the equal sign, I do have k minus 7 minus 8. So I can move this k over here to the other side, and I need to do that by making it 0. So to make it 0, I have to subtract k, and whatever I do here, I must do here. I'm going to subtract k. I'm subtracting 1k, so this cancels. And now negative 2k minus k is like having negative 2 and another negative. So that gives me negative 3k. Negative 3k. Let me know in the comments if you would like me to do a video on adding and subtracting integers. Okay, so now what do we have on the right hand side? We have negative 7 minus 8. That gives you negative 15. Okay, so now I don't want the value of negative 3k. I want the value of just 1k. Remember, I need to know how much is 1k. So I need to get rid of this negative 3 that is multiplying the k, and the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide. This line is called division bar. So I'm going to divide by negative 3 because I need to get rid of the whole negative 3, not just 3, negative 3. So I'm going to divide by negative 3. This cancels because negative 3 divided by negative 3 is just me 1, which is 1k, equals negative 15 divided by negative 3 is positive 5. Let's check our answer. So I'm going to substitute k for positive 5. So that's negative 2k. That will be negative 2 times 5 equals k, which happens to be 5, minus 7, minus 8. Okay, good. Let's work on the right hand side, left hand side. Negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. And now I'm going to go on the right hand side. 5 minus 7 is negative 2, and negative 2 minus 8 is negative 10. So I have a true statement. Negative 10 equals to negative 10, so that means my answer is correct. Okay, let's look at number 3. Number 3 is a little different because you have this 2 over here, which is in the parentheses. This is called distributive property. So you can multiply this number out. Okay, so to distribute. So here we have 6x equals to 2 times 7x plus 3. So I'm going to show you two ways to do it. First, we're going to show you to distribute. This is what most algebra teachers tells you to do. So we're going to distribute. That means this 2 multiply everything that's inside the parentheses. Remember, inside the parentheses, you cannot combine this 7x plus 3 because they're not like terms, meaning 7x has a variable and the 3 doesn't. So they're not the same kind. So you cannot combine. It's like having dogs and cats. You can't combine those. You have dogs and cats. All right, so let's distribute here. I'm going to bring down my 6x because I'm not doing anything with it yet. I'm going to bring down the equal sign, and now I'm going to distribute. 2 times 7x gives me 14x plus, because that's the plus sign here, and then 2 times 3 is 6. So now my equation is 6x equals 14x plus 6. I am going to now put my variables together. So I am going to move this 14x, and I'm going to move it to the other side by making it 0. So I'm going to subtract 14x. Subtract 14x from the right hand side and from the left hand side. 14x. Now these are going to cancel. And now I have 6x minus 14x is going to be negative 8x. That's what I get on the left hand side equals. And now I have 6 over here left over on the right hand side. Now I need to get rid of the negative 8, so I'm going to divide by negative 8 because that's the opposite of multiplication. I'm going to divide by negative 8, and now I get This is 1x, so negative 8 divided by negative 8 is positive 1x equals, and 6 divided by negative 8, this is going to give you a decimal, so the best bet is for you to just simplify this fraction. It's going to be a negative fraction because I have a positive divided by a negative, and now you can divide by 2. You can divide by 2 to simplify, and when you divide by 2, remember you're dividing both numerator and denominator. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So my answer is negative 3/4. Let's check our answer to see if we are correct. So we have 6 times negative 3/4. 3/4 is equal to 2 times 7 times negative 3/4 plus 3. Okay, order of operations, I'm going to go inside the parentheses here, and I'm going to solve this. And whenever you have a whole number like the 7 multiplying a fraction, this is going to be negative because you have a positive and a negative. So I'm going to put a negative first. So you're going to multiply numerator times numerator. 7 times 3 is 21. And then pretend there is a 1 under the 7 because it's a whole number. So 1 times 4 is 4. So that's negative 21 over 4. 21 over 4 plus 3. That's what we get inside the parentheses. Okay, and now we have that 2 outside, and then we're going to work on the other side, and it's going to be the same thing. Pretend there is a 1 under the 6, and 6 is going to be a negative because positive and negative is negative. So 6 times 3 is 18 over 4. And I'm not going to simplify yet. I'm not going to simplify until I get to the answer. All right, so remember what I told you, that this number outside multiplies everything inside. You can do that first, or you can just add this 2, and then whatever you get, multiply by 2. Either way, you're going to get the same answer. I am going to multiply first because I want to see if I can get rid of that fraction. So when I multiply, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to have 2 times negative 21 is going to be negative 42 over 4. 42 over 4 plus 3. No, plus 3. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 6. And that's equal to negative 18 over 4. So now I have to deal with these fractions. And the reason why I didn't simplify this 2 and this 4 is because I want to keep the same denominator, because I might have to do something with it. Okay, so now I need to add this 2. So I need to make this 6 into a fraction with denominator 4. So remember, the whole number has a 1 under it to make it a fraction. So I need to multiply by 4 to make it into the same denominator. And now I get negative 42 over 4 plus 6 times 4 is 24, and 1 times 4 is 4. So 42 minus 24, let me grab the calculator really quick, and we have 42 minus 24 gives you 18. So, and it's negative because you have 42 has more negatives, so negative 18 over 4. So therefore my answer is correct over here on this one. All right, last one that we're going to go over today is going to be question 4, because we had that fraction. And remember what I told you on the other one, you can multiply to distribute. This will be distributive property. Or in this case, we're going to eliminate this fraction because I don't want to deal with fractions. So to eliminate the fraction, and the good thing here, you only have one fraction, so your denominator is 2. So we're going to look at the denominator. You're going to multiply by that denominator. If you had 2 different denominators, you multiply by the least common denominator. But in this case, you only have 2, so I'm going to multiply the whole equation by 2. So 2 times negative 3 is negative 6, and I'm going to just bring this parenthesis, equals, and then 2 times 1/2, what that does is eliminates the fractions, okay, because that's 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 over 2 is 1. So the only thing we have left is this parentheses, which we don't need the parentheses, but actually let me erase it. We don't need the parentheses. The parentheses on the first one we need it because we're still multiplying by that 6. Okay, so now we're ready to distribute. There's no fraction, so negative 6 times 1 is negative 6, and negative 6 times negative x is positive 6x, equals 2x plus 1. 2x plus 1. Now let's put the variables together. So let's put this 2x on the other side, and I'm going to do that by subtracting 2x because I need to make it 0. So I subtract 2x, so this cancels, and now what do I have on the left hand side? We have negative 6 plus 4x equals, and then on the right hand side I only have a 1. Now I need to make this negative 6, make it 0 so it can go to the other side. So I'm going to add 6. I'm going to add 6. And now this cancels, and now you have 4x equals 7. And then get rid of the 4 by dividing by 4. And now you get that x equals 7 over 4. Okay, we are going to check this answer, and to check this answer, I told you before, we are going to substitute. So I'm going to erase this so we can have space. We're going to substitute into the original equation, and if I get a true statement, that means my answer is correct. So it's a good idea to check your answer. So you have negative 3 parentheses 1 minus x, but x is 7 over 4, so I'm just going to write 7 over 4 equals 1/2 parentheses 2 times 7 over 4 plus 1 close parentheses. Okay, let's distribute. So that's negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. Negative times negative is positive. And remember, 3 times 7 is 21 over 4. That's how we multiply these fractions, equals. And now I'm going to distribute this half. Let's do inside the parenthesis because we need to work inside the parenthesis first. So it will be 2 times 7 over 4. So that gives me, let me just write the 1/2 because I gotta work inside the parenthesis. 2 times 7 is 14 over 4 plus 1. Okay, 14 over 4 plus 1. Okay, so let's work with these fractions here. So let's change this into the same denominator. Remember, this is a 1. So to make this into the same denominator, I'll have to multiply by 4. I will have to multiply both by 4. So that gives me negative 12 over 4 plus 21 over 4 equals, and now I'm going to go here, and I'm going to multiply this half of 14 over 4. We're going to multiply numerator times numerator. 1 times 14 is 14, and 2 times 4 is 8, and then 1/2 times 1 is just 1/2. Okay, so let's go here. So we have negative 12 plus 21, so that is subtraction. So 21 minus 12 is 9, so this gives me 9 over 4 equals, and now we go here. I need to, first I'm going to reduce this fraction so I can have a denominator of 4. So I'm going to reduce by dividing by 2. There's a lot of things going on in this question. We're going to divide by 2, and I get 7 over 4. So we have 7 over 4 plus, how do I make this into denominator 4? That will have, I'll multiply by 2, and I get 2/4. Now 7 over 4 plus 2 over 4 gives me 9 over 4. So therefore my answer is correct. I hope you enjoyed this video and have a great day and good luck on your EOC.